Shalom, family. It's good to see all of you here. I wanted to ask y'all something. Be honest. I was thinking about going on Clubhouse so that we can all come together and just dialogue, on the app. Because, on that app, everybody can talk. And I'm thinking maybe kind of getting off of YouTube and doing something like that. I don't know how all of you feel about that, but it would just kind of be nice. YouTube, it's just so many restrictions now being on here. And I think it might be an added bonus if we could do something like that. So it's just a thought for now, but perhaps in the near future, that can be another option. And the nice part about that, the block feature really works over there. It really works. Okay. What we're going to talk about today is the shortage of school bus drivers, and something else had popped up just before I came over here. Well, what I heard, the hurricane, made landfall and did a lot of damage. Do y'all know? And I believe I said this in my video that came out. Katrina happened on the same day as Hurricane Ida back in 2005. Isn't that crazy? It happened on the same exact day, and both of them have turned out to be very deadly hurricanes. So, one thing that happened, and I'm sure we're going to be hearing more and more about it, it has shut down the Gulf Coast oil production. It has been completely shut down, and a lot of the equipment that's out in the ocean has been damaged. So you know what that means, right? They're going to use that as an excuse to hike up the gas prices this coming fall and winter, and justify and keeping it up because oil production had to be shut down. Yeah, trust me. They're gonna come up with that as a reason to keep the gas up. Justin March, thank you so much for the super sticker. So yeah, I saw roofs on the ground where it just completely got torn off. I seen a lot of downed trees, and just looking at some of the pictures coming out, boy, it looks bad. Boy, it looks bad. They said all of New Orleans is out of power. There's no power on in the entire city. It is bad. It is bad. Now, that one, I would say, was a Katrina level, a hurricane. It made landfall at 150 miles an hour. I said, whew, they'll be lucky if anything is standing. And I was watching it live on a camera they had on a pier. And even that pier was becoming unstable. I was like, wow. I mean, that was crazy. That was crazy. Now, they went through it. And well, time will tell how bad the damage is, because I know Katrina damage was, I think, the highest of all time in the US at that particular time in 2005. I think that was economically the highest damage, because I know it was well into the billions and billions of dollars. So I can imagine this one's going to be equally as bad. I mean, I don't know what I can do, but if anybody in that area, if you are able to get to the internet, if you need help, if I can send you something, just let me know. I sure don't want any of my subscribers out there suffering. So it's that, and there's many things that I'm working on for the future, mainly for us. And we'll get to talk about some of that stuff. Yes. Ty Smith, thank you for bringing that up. Do you know the stories are coming out that America lost Afghanistan? This was a failure, a lost war. And the stories are out there like that. That's how it's written. I mean, look, they were pulling out and the Taliban got the entire nation within days, okay? I think like 3 days. Yes, they said this is a loss for America. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, that is biblical prophecy. Remember, we're past the 400 years. There are no more victories coming for America. And I was listening to Big Judah, and he was bringing that out in one of his videos. And I said, that's very true. Why would we be looking for this to be looked upon as a victory? It's not a victory. Remember, after we're past the 400 years, there are no more victories coming for America. There are no more victories coming. So this was very telling, and any other issues they get into in the future. And these folks are sick. They might try to spark a war believing that it will help economically bring the country back, which we know it's not coming back, because they're not supposed to get any more time sitting in any kind of leadership. So we know if there is a World War III, like a lot of people believe there will be, it will not be a victory for America, because the time has passed. I mean, it just seems like everything they try to do, y'all, it is just falling apart. And it's just crazy just watching this. It is almost like the Most High is sitting up at his throne, and anything they say, he pushed the opposite button. Because it's happening that fast. It is just so crazy what's happening. And look, America is in a very bad economic state. So these natural disasters like Ida coming along is even more devastating, because you don't have your economy back, and now you got a storm that has created billions and billions of dollars in damages in a country where you never, ever got the whole thing back. So these natural disasters are going to kick their butts, like the fires out there in the West that they can't seem to put out. And they already admitted it'll probably be into the fall before there's any signs of those fires going out. They cannot put them fires out. And those fires have been going on since what, June? We're in August, and they're saying it'll be weeks more before there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, this is crazy. This is like an Australia fire. Remember when that fire went on and on and on, and it was a drought? And that's what's happening out west. It's a drought, and there's no rain coming, and these fires, they just can't do. And they're still getting hit with the triple digit weather. And I got another story talking about how badly burnt the crops are around America. It's a lot of crop damage from the heat waves that have happened this year. And it's very believable, because let me tell y'all something. I've seen many heat waves in my life, but we here in the Northeast, not a week has gone by this summer where we did not have a heat wave. We literally had a heat wave every single week. Every week we had a heat wave. Now, yeah, that can do a lot of damage to crops, especially out in the West where they're hitting triple digits. You saw what happened to those Christmas trees, and I was reading another story where the airports are saying there's a jet fuel shortage that's hitting the airports. So, as well as I do, there may be more restrictions on travel if the fuel don't come flowing to the airport. Those jets require fuel. It's not like an electric car. Wow. So I mean, it's falling apart fast. So I got a story that came out on Newsweek. And ladies and gentlemen, there is a shortage like everything else. There's a shortage for school bus drivers nationwide. And we know why. It's low pay. And to even be a school bus driver, you got to train for a whole month. My dad was when he retired from being a United Auto worker, he couldn't sit still. He was just so used to working. He was a part-time school bus driver. That's what he did. And he literally drove until practically the day he died. He drove the school bus. And it's a part-time job. That's what all of them are. And it really don't pay much. It depends on the part of the country, but usually school bus drivers do not get that much money. They don't. And with Delta out here, that's probably another turnoff and reason why they are not getting the applicants that they once did. So they're not getting applicants either, just like many other industries out here. And ladies and gentlemen, again, I'm still seeing the stories out here about fuel truck shortage and how there's going to be more gas stations around America going dry. So that is coming. So, I know you can't prepare for everything. I know we always tell people to be prepared, but literally you can't prepare for everything. You can only just do the best that you can under the circumstances. And just with that, and it is just going to skyrocket the gas. The gas that is out here and available, they're just going to use all kinds of excuses to go up on the price. So, wow. I mean, America's future definitely don't look bright. I don't even think it looks dim. I think it's a complete blackout in the near future for this country. So, let me go ahead and get this all set up so that I can go over this story with you that just came out from Newsweek. Okay. Okay. Let me get my. All right. Share my screen. Okay. All right, everybody. How you doing, Santee? It's good to see you. All right, everybody. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Please give me a 1. Wow. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as I said before, just like everything else, there is a shortage of school bus drivers, and they are projecting that this is not going to get better. It's going to get worse as time moves ahead. So this is Newsweek, August 27th, 2021. Nationwide school bus driver shortage persists due to low hours and month-long training. So a school bus driver shortage is affecting the country. This is nationwide. This is all over the country. It's not in one area. So this is affecting the country as the 2021-2022 school year begins. We know, Delta right now is wreaking havoc all across the country, and it's also taking its toll on hiring bus drivers for these school buses. But that's not the only issue causing the widespread issue, and in person classes resume for millions of students. A bigger issue is a lack of people wanting to fill the positions. Operations manager Steve Burnett of Oak Park City School District in Michigan spoke to WDIV regarding the current shortages. Too many people are staying home, and we need people to do these jobs. I've been all the way to Hawaii. There are signs up everywhere, every state I visit, Burnett says. Executive director of the Michigan Association for Pupil Transportation. So they said this shortage is widespread. And usually the hiring process is a long process. And they said that is also another reason to blame for many shortages in states. It's a good month to get somebody trained. So it's not like I can put out an ad for a school bus driver today and put you to work tomorrow. He also said, these jobs only offer part time opportunities. And usually to the average person, it is just simply not enough money. It's a rough time because it's not a full-time job. It's a few hours in the morning, a few hours in the afternoon, potentially a field trip here or there, maybe a noon run, but you can't support a family driving a school bus. That is absolutely true. Other states across the US are using cash incentives as motivation for potential new bus drivers. School districts in Montana is offering $4,000 bonuses and allow people to test drive buses, hoping they'll take the job at hand, according to the Associated Press. Another Delaware school district is offering a $700 incentive. And Pittsburgh, a school district, had to delay the start, the start of the school year because they did not have enough bus drivers. Can you imagine that? You got to change the start of the school year because you don't have the transportation to get the children to school. Well, that's what's happening there. That's crazy. That's Pittsburgh. Joanna McFarland is the co-founder and CEO of school ride service company Hop Skip Drive, which tracks school bus issues. McFarland, who is based in Los Angeles, told the Associated Press that in March, nearly 80% of districts that responded were having trouble filling enough bus drivers. Now, I want y'all to think about this. Prior to the lockdown, there were shortages, but most school districts could get kids around. Once the lockdown occurred, these people, the little money they were making, they weren't making nothing. School bus drivers weren't making nothing during the lockdown. Okay? So, quite naturally, when they opened school, a lot of them are like, the hell with it. I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. I wasn't making that much money anyway. I'm not coming back. That seems to be the attitude. Even old drivers are not coming back. Ones that have been driving for years, they're not even coming back. So they got a huge problem up in here. It is bad. On August 18th, President Joe Biden ordered his education secretary to pursue possible legal action against states that have blocked school mask mandates and other health measures meant to protect students, against the virus. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know what this means? If it gets bad enough, these parents that want their children in school are going to have to gas up and get those kids to school back and forth yourself. You're not going to have a choice. You're going to have to get them kids around yourself. I mean, look at all the stuff happening simultaneously. You got a fuel shortage. You got Hurricane Ida that just damaged Gulf oil production. You got, you got all that damage down there that people got to go down there and try to fix that place back up. I mean, it is crazy. It's almost like when the Most High is sending these different things, they're all coming simultaneously. Everything's coming simultaneously. It's crazy. And plus, think about it. If you are a school bus driver and you're working part-time and you're really not getting that many hours, what, about 20 hours a week? Who would risk their lives getting on a bus with a bunch of kids and you may end up sick for low pay? You may end up sick with Delta for all over low pay and low hours. Nobody is going to see it as worth it. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is going to see this as worth it, for real. You know, at this point, America is like a country with two broke legs. That's America. America's the country with two broke legs. Volcanus, thank you so much for the super chat. Shalom, Lisa in chat. I'm currently offloading here in South Georgia. Is going on 3 o'clock. Been here since 10:45 a.m. this morning. They're saying they don't have enough forklift operators. Wow. Oh, wow. You already been there several hours too. It is. It is. I mean, look, that's what it's going to come down to. Parents that want their kids in school, you better gas up because you look like you may be making them round trips in the morning and round trip in the afternoon, getting your kids back home. Yeah, I mean, my dad actually did pretty well. The kids liked him. I was really surprised. When my father passed on, they collected money, and even the kids gave money. They said they wanted to give money, and they did. It was very sweet. But yeah, I can imagine some locations, those kids on the bus are probably pure hell. At Lisa G. Gundam, you said they cry about not having enough forklift operators up here too in northern Kentucky. Yeah, it's shortages in every industry. But we still got people that still don't believe the shortages are real. I've had some people tell me, "Oh, there's no trucking shortage." I was like, "Now, even I know that's true." I'm not an expert, but yeah, some people are sitting here saying there is no trucking shortage. And then when I say, okay, well, there's shortages in there, I don't believe that. There's lots of this and lots of that in my area. Well, we don't all live in your area. All right. Just because you may see things in abundance in your area, that don't mean that's the way it is across the country. I got subscribers telling me they're walking in stores and seeing empty shelves. But right now, where I am, when I walk in, it's not quite that bad yet. But we know as time goes on, that can certainly change. So I don't assume because the shelves are not quite that empty yet in my area that it's not that way somewhere else in the country. But some people think like that. If they see a lot of something around them, they think, oh, well, that's not a problem. Well, maybe not for you. You know, Esther said, I ordered a product and they kept saying they are trying to ship it. It was supposed to be 2 days and now it's going on 2 weeks almost. Yeah. That's going to become the norm. I told y'all I get a monthly subscription of just certain items that I get from Amazon, and I have 10 different items on subscription. Five, five were canceled. I have never had that many at one time canceled. Usually it may be one item, every now and then it may be two, but I have never had five. I'm waiting for I'm waiting for damn near my whole order to be wiped out eventually because I really think that's coming. Sorry, Miss Cabrera, we don't have nothing at our warehouse. You will not get your monthly subscription this month. Bye, bitch. I'm waiting for that. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, and the shortage is also a sign of panic. I believe people are still out here panic shopping because they see what's going on in this country and they know it's not good. You know, these folks opened up everything when about April, right? And nothing has been right since. Not that anything has been right from the lockdown on. I mean, nothing has been right. All we get is a bunch of endless babbling on TV, but nothing improves. Nothing improves. Hmm. I mean, everybody is shorthanded, and I noticed the other day FedEx, UPS, the US Postal Service, they're all looking for their seasonal workers now. And I'm just wondering how that's going. I don't know, but I know they are looking for their workers for the holiday season. And we'll see how that goes. See if they're going to be short-handed for seasonal workers. But I tell you what, the retail stores are anticipating a worker shortage even during the holiday season. They're already anticipating it. Thank you, James Palmer, for the super sticker. I haven't seen UPS in a while, but I have seen a FedEx truck periodically that comes up and down my street. I always see FedEx a little more than I see UPS around here. Yeah, it is going to be interesting because I know it was Walmart, Target, all of the stores that usually get the extra help for the holidays. They're all concerned that they're not going to be able to find a sufficient amount of workers to come and just work for the season this year. And I mean, all kinds of things. They're said they're not going to be a lot of computers because of the chip shortage. And there may be shortages on all kinds of products because those shipping containers are still not moving fast enough. Hmm. Yeah, but you know what, James, Israel, you know what? They may not have to worry about the money becoming useless because you may not be able to spend it anywhere with all these shortages going on. You may not have a lot of places to spend that money. That's the way I see it. Hmm. Yeah, I haven't seen too many stories on the food banks, but I'm sure as time goes on and the shortages get bigger and bigger, those lines are going to get astronomical again, like before. Yeah, some of the food products that you can't find in the store, yes, I do believe, use online shopping as an alternative for anything that you can't find. You may be able to get it a little easier online. Hmm. Yeah. So, um, We just have to do the best that we can. Everything is not preventable, like I said. I think some people go kind of overboard telling you, oh, well, just stay on top of this and stay on top of that. Sometimes you just can't. You can only do your best. I remember when Sandy happened, we didn't have anything. We didn't have the ATM. The banks were closed because there was no power. So, and if there was no power, you couldn't even walk up and use an ATM. Everything was shut down. And that was a real test to see how people would be if you didn't have access to your money at the bank. You didn't have access to even go in a store and shop. That's a test. That is a real test for many people. And the ATMs, I think, didn't even come back until like a week later. So people were trying to get money and they couldn't get money. You just don't know what's going to throw you off. You just don't know. And we can't assume that people will do something just because we may do it. Some people may not be in a position to do many things because they're just financially scrapped. They just can't do it. Yeah, well, you're right about that, James Richardson. They never paid well in America. I think a lot of people were under the impression, oh, America's such a superpower, America this, America that, and they don't realize a lot of these jobs out here pay like crap. And these folks don't care. That's all they want to throw crumbs at you, and they want you to come in there every day and break your ass working, and what they're giving you is not even a living wage. I don't even think businesses should be allowed to open unless they can at least pay an employee a living wage. That's my opinion. If you can't do that, then close the hell down and go on about your business. But America is not like that. They want to pay you the bare minimum, but want you to come in there and work like a dog every day. That's what they want. They have that slave mentality. Thank you, Volcanus, for the super sticker. They have that slave mentality that has passed on from generation to generation. That's why they don't think nothing of paying you crumbs and act like they gave you something too. The pay sucks in America. That's the truth. They got all these essential jobs, right? They call the jobs essential. So the jobs are a necessity out here in America. But essential jobs in America those are the worst paying jobs. The non-essential jobs were the ones getting the fat bucks. And does this even make sense? Thank you for the super sticker, member of the Lambley. Yeah, and they still, Mike, see, they still got that slave mentality. That's why the pay sucks for these essential worker jobs. It is ridiculous. Thank you, Volcanus, for becoming a new member. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do what you got to do, for real. Pam is jamming. So many people have retired. They see how things are and they don't want to be bothered with getting up and going to work anymore. And they're saying, I did a story a few days ago. They're saying there's an estimated 2 million more retirements that will happen over the next month. 2 million. So those are going to be even more open positions out here when all of those folks retire, and you still can't even fill the ones that you got. Well, that is because the pay scale is really just designed for one group in mind. That's why the rest of the pay looks bad. And you see a lot of our people working those essential jobs. Those big fat salaries, that's for a whole nother group of people. They can go to work and get some job making copies and paper clipping things, and they'll get a bigger salary than you. Okay, just doing some remedial stuff every day. Yeah, yeah. The light bearer, you're right. The light bringer, you're right. There are a lot of, not only in California, but all over the country, homelessness is a mess. And just before Hurricane Ida hit, I was listening to the news in Louisiana, and they were still trying, just before the thing made impact, they were still trying to get homeless people off of the street. It was so many of them, and put them up in hotels until the storm is over. And they were still fighting and running around trying to do that. I would say just hours before Ida made landfall. And yeah, they couldn't be out there. That storm would kill them at 150 miles an hour. Yeah, they couldn't be out there, homeless people. That storm would wipe them out. Hmm. Yeah. Before Light 20, you said, hi, hello, Lisa. I work in HR, and there are over 1,000 retirements scheduled for the end of this year. I may jump in the pile. I hear you. Yeah. I think people, because I was reading about some of the people that retired. Some of them said they really were going to stay out and work for a few more years before retiring. But after the pandemic started, they said that changed their mind altogether, and they made the decision to retire and not wait, not hold out and wait a few years, just go ahead and do it. And that's what they've done. Yeah, it's going to be sad to see the outcome, because I know how bad Katrina was. And oh, it just, I can still see those images of when they showed how all the areas, the houses were all flooded, and some of the images were black people floating dead in the water. Oh my goodness, I can still see that in my head. That was horrible, seeing all them dead bodies in the water. Oh, that was a devastating storm. You kind of wish everybody would have got out, but I realize some people, they just can't get out. That's easier said than done. Not unless somebody can help them do it. You'd be surprised. A lot of elderly people and some people that just don't have a lot. They can't just always up and leave. They don't have the financial means to do it. And that's why so many of them will just choose to, try to tough it out. And sometimes that can be a fatal mistake. But I remember those images on TV. That was back when I was still watching the news every day on TV. And when I would see those images of all those dead bodies, and a lot of them were black people, just dead. You can clearly tell they were dead in the water. It was horrible. Yeah, I hope that I hope most of the people were able to find shelter and they're okay. But I saw how that thing was ripping off roofs of houses and businesses. And oh man, that thing was a mess. That was no joke right there. Yeah, and then when they were all piled up at the stadium, oh, I don't know who thought that was a good idea. I did not look. How do you sleep in a stadium on them hard ass chairs? I just thought that was a horrible location. I think what they should have done was split all those people up wherever area they came out and just let them stay at local hotels. And if the state wanted to do something like that, the state pick up the tab for them to stay for a few days and then go back home. But to put them all in that stadium, I thought that was a bad idea. They belonged in hotels, not stadium. That was not a good idea. Yeah, yeah. That's why it freaked me out when they said Ida actually happened on the same day as Katrina. Katrina was just 2005. That is just eerie right there. Two devastating storms happening on the same day. Mhm. Well, you know what, Mike C is going to look even different next year. We don't know. Delta, trust me, is not the only thing coming. It's going to be something even worse than Delta coming. It's going to be something even worse. Yeah, yeah, James Richardson. I remember them, the cops shooting people. That's what I'm saying. These police, some of them are absolutely useless. Here you got a crisis going on. People are scared. People are looking for help. You mean to tell me you couldn't just turn them away and say, look, go over in this location and there's shelter over there, or there's a shelter? What the cops need to do is tell people where the shelter and help is, not pull guns out and start shooting people that are in a desperate situation. That's the only job they should have been doing on that day, is telling people where they can go, where shelter can be found, or where they can get help, or go to this location. They got food, or they got a place where you can sleep. That's the only thing a police officer should be doing during a crisis, not kill people. They are of no use whatsoever in a crisis. But we know their minds are not made that way, y'all. Shooting people is the first thing that would come to their mind, but to somebody like us, if somebody was coming and they looked desperate and they were trying to get help, we would try to do something to help, not kill them. But this is what happens when you pass garbage down through the generations, and ultimately that crap that you really believe is going to backfire on you. But that's the only thing a police officer should be doing when a natural disaster happens and they're out and about. You tell people where to go to get help. That's it. And if that's not what you want to do, keep your ass home. Don't come out on the streets at all. Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and end the live stream. And we'll definitely do this again another day. You know, hopefully, I hope most of our Hebrew babies are home, doing virtual learning, or they're being homeschooled, because I think right now, just being in school, in my opinion, is way too dangerous. America from day one has not been able to get control of things as far as the pandemic is concerned. And being that if you can't get control over this whole thing, then you shouldn't be demanding that people return to jobs and return to school. That's the way I see it. You're going to be screwed out of money no matter what happens. As long as this economy is not fully back, you're screwed anyway. How are you not screwed? All right, people. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Shalom, family.